like being late, and I'm so annoying. But anyway, so
No worries.
No worries. What's going on?
We got time to kill.
not much. How are you guys doing?
We're doing
Good,
all
hanging
right.
in there.
I'm down in Austin and he's in the Chicago area, so we're kind of
Mhm.
just chilling. How are you? Mike said, you're in Florida right now?
Yeah, I'm in Florida. I actually came down here for the players, and I was
Okay.
meant to be here for 4 days, and then
Yeah.
I just never went
Oh
back to New
yeah.
York.
So post after that Thursday, and then it was called. You just said, "All right, I'm sticking to
Yeah,
Florida." Yeah.
yeah. I was like, well, should I go back? And I just like, oh, I'll go see my parents and see how things play out. And then it just got worse and worse and worse, and I haven't gone back.
Where's home base?
New York.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, right. Don't really want to
Yeah.
be there.
No. So I just spend like I have like 4 days of clothes. I'm just like living with
Right,
my
yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
So you
How
don't see too many people right now
how
anyway.
wild was it that I guess that 48 hours at Sawgrass when everything just got shut down and
Oh, it
like
was so crazy. It
yeah.
was crazy. It was like because everybody's like, oh, maybe they'll cancel the tournament. Oh, they'll never cancel the tournament. Okay, the rounds, they're just going to play it without fans. Oh, no, they're just
Mhm.
going to play like one day without fans. And then they're like, okay, no more tournament at all. And it was
Yeah.
just like, it was really wild. Like,
That was the day after the NBA,
Yeah,
right? That was Wednesday night. Yeah.
I kind of felt like they wanted to finish it with no fans,
I
and they
think so too.
probably could have, but once they saw like literally every other sport like shut down,
yeah,
it was
yeah,
almost like they had no choice.
yeah, it was actually, I think it was Disney that was like the final nail in the coffin with them being so close in Orlando. I
Yeah.
think it was kind of like,
Okay.
well, if Disney is pulling the plug, then we really have to pull the plug. So,
Right. Yeah, you can't be.
yeah.
It's just not a good look or a little too risky. Just be
No, no,
one
no. And
thing
it was
going
just
on.
it's I mean, I think it just made it harder though too, because that's obviously like the tour's holy grail
Right.
flagship event, and they
Yeah.
put so much time and energy into it and all the grandstands and everything, and then it's
Hmm.
just like, just kidding, never mind. So
Right.
it sucks, but
I wonder
yeah.
what all the fans did. I mean,
I
I don't
don't, it was weird. I think you know, I
fly
don't think
home.
it's when
Like,
people like fly in for the players. I think it's more
okay,
of like a local
Yeah.
thing.
sure.
Um, but yeah, it was definitely weird. Like on that Thursday, like people are out and about, and
Hmm.
it's like I'm like, should you guys even be here,
Hmm.
really?
Yeah.
Well, no one knew anything about it really. I mean, at the
Yeah,
time, it was more of like it was in the baby stage. So,
yeah.
like, but
All right, Walsh, are you all set on audio wise? Otherwise, I can start the recording. You
yeah,
are
I mean, I got Audacity up, so I'm set over here.
cool. All right, let's do it.
Fire away.
All right, folks, and now joining us is someone that had quite the success as a player, quite the college career, and now is making one heck of an impact in the golf media world herself. Currently at Golf Digest, we welcome on Hally Leadbetter. Hally, how you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, so I guess
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
so to start things off,
Classic Zoom mix up.
we'll have our audio guy cut that part out. But
You're good. You're good.
to start things off, Hallie, talk to us. We understand you were down at Sawgrass for the players and then decided, obviously, want to know part of going back to New York, so stuck with it down in Florida. What have you been doing during this quarantine? How have you been staying busy and what's going on?
Yeah, it was funny. It was kind of a whirlwind when we were, all down in at Sawgrass, and then, spent the day on Thursday at the tournament, and then there was news that it was going to be no fans the rest of the way, and then Thursday night we got news that there was just no more tournament. So at that point, I called. I was like, okay, do I go back to New York? It doesn't look so great there. So I'll just go stay with my parents for a few days and figure it out. And now that few days has turned into a few months. So I'm, here currently in my parents' lovely guest bedroom. It was kind of, I would say, about a week of a transition phase where, internally at Golf Digest and Golf TV, we're kind of like, all right, here's the situation we're in. We obviously had all of these grand plans for the players and the majors and all this stuff. And now we have to pivot majorly.
Yeah.
So, I'd say it was about probably a week, of getting our ducks in a row and coming up with a really solid plan. And now for us, it's been a lot of like player interviews and through Zoom and,
Right.
a lot of figuring out, okay, what can we offer our fans and followers during this time? Like, what are people that like golf that maybe don't have access to golf or as much access to golf as they normally would? What can we offer them? So like instruction content and fitness
Mhm.
content, and then obviously we're lucky to be having these two matches coming up here next week. We'll have
Right.
the TaylorMade driving relief match, and then we'll have the Tiger Phil match. So also just figuring out what our plans are around those too. So we're very grateful to have some sort of live golf going on in the next few weeks.
Right. I just got to ask real quick. So we've seen the Florida beaches have reopened, I think, again.
Yes.
I have some buddies, because I went to school at Eckerd, so I know you went to Rollins.
Yeah.
So I was down in Florida for a while too, and I know the people there can be, generally, very courageous, kind of do whatever they want.
That's a very nice way to put it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You always hear some interesting stories on the Florida news, so I don't really know exactly what
I
people are
mean,
doing on the water.
there's a reason. I'm sure you guys remember that whole like Florida man trend where you would type in your birthday and then Florida man and you would
Right.
get like all these bizarre headlines. So I don't know if courageous is the word I would use to describe people from Florida.
Right.
I mean, I'm from Florida. I love Florida.
Sure.
But we definitely have some, our sort of negative, the stereotype that we get.
Yeah, right.
Because
Right.
I mean, you look at the beaches and they are just packed, and it's like, I'm
Packed.
sorry, do you guys not understand what's going on right now? There's a pandemic.
Right.
You should not be anywhere near each other. So the beaches near my parents, they've just reopened,
Mhm.
and there's now like you're allowed to walk on the beach, and you can't be stagnant essentially. As long as you're like exercising, then you're allowed to be on the beach.
So you can't like tan.
No,
Okay.
you can't tan. I mean,
I have a lot of buddies down in Florida, and he was saying there's some like bars opening up at 25%, I think.
yeah.
Some like, I don't know, but they seem to be a little bit pushing the envelope in terms of,
Yeah.
getting out and doing stuff right away.
Yeah, I know. The golf courses are open, which is good.
Right.
My little brother has been playing in like some of these like West Florida Golf Tour events,
Oh, nice.
which have been really good.
Nice.
But yeah, I went and played for the first time. Actually, don't have my golf clubs here because they're in New York, but my brother's left-handed. I mean, granted, he's like
Okay.
6'2" and ripped, so I don't really like hit his clubs very
Choke
well.
up big time.
Yeah.
It's at least something you can use and get out and play 9 holes or whatever it may
Oh,
be.
totally.
Right.
Yeah. So I was just like, I went with him the other day. But it was super fun. And, it was like my first time seeing, I've obviously we've been talking about it. Golf Digest has been talking about it, about all these measures that golf courses are taking with, like the pool noodle things
The
in the
noodle
cup.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot about it until I got out there, and I was like, what the heck? And then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
That's what
Just slam the 3-footers right in the noodle, and it's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I was in South Carolina for a few weeks, and I was playing around with my brother and dad, and we get to like the second or third hole, and my brother's got like a 9-footer for par, and he just walks over the flag stick and just kind of naturally like takes it out. They didn't have the noodle, and all of a sudden you just hear like a group from across the green on a different hole just, hey, you can't do that. So it's like everyone's just on it right away.
Yeah.
But speaking of
Yeah.
those matches, obviously we got the Ricky Wolf one versus DJ and Rory, and then obviously Phil and Tiger with the quarterbacks. I gotta ask, do you like either of the underdogs? Do you think Ricky Wolfie could surprise, and who do you like in that Phil Tiger one?
Oh no, I'm going DJ Rory. I mean, I'm a huge Rory fan. I think he's so great. DJ, I mean, they're all great guys. But I just think it's such a bizarre matchup. I mean, you have like a former world number one, current world number one, 4 majors versus like, I mean, Ricky and Wolf are obviously good players, and Wolf is like pretty new out there. But it is on paper, you're like, what?
Yeah,
What? What to think? here.
I feel like Ricky's deserves to be there, but the Wolf, I was expecting like Ricky and JT or someone of that nature.
It's tailor-made, right? That's
yeah, it's tailor-made. It's tailor-made,
Okay.
and it's guys that like sort of live in that area because they want to. Obviously, they don't want people traveling to play in it. So yeah, I think it'll be really fun. I think the thinking was just like, let's pair the Oklahoma State boys together, which I think is cool. But it's like, but against those guys,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I gotta be honest.
Carrying their own bags too.
I gotta be honest with you though. I actually am going on the record right now. I'm picking the Oklahoma State boys in an upset.
Oh wow!
I think they're gonna have really good chemistry. I don't see DJ and Rory having that good a chemistry. To be honest,
fair.
like I don't see those two guys as guys like, you know, feeding off each other.
Like you don't think like DJ and Rory like hang out.
No,
whereas like Ricky and
Do Ricky and Wolf hang out?
No,
they might.
When you're a Poke, you got that connection. They're gonna have better camaraderie. I'm going with the upset there, but it'll definitely be fun to watch.
For sure.
And then obviously the Phil Tiger one with the quarterbacks, I think that should be great television. The trash.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait for that one.
Hally, have you joined any of the Peloton rides with Rory and like Bubba and Horschel? And I saw a video on your Instagram. I was cracking up.
Okay, so here's the
training one. But
here's
do you actually do it?
I don't actually own a Peloton. That's like an old stationary bike that my parents have. But I really want a Peloton. I really do. And I'm going to probably have to get one when I get back to New York. But yeah, that bike actually, what's funny is when I was filming that video, I swear to God, the pedal flew off. And I had to get my mom to like help me with an Allen wrench so I could put the pedal back on the bike.
It was that old,
That's great.
Out of commission.
I was like, the show must go on, Mom.
Sometimes you got to adapt.
Yeah, but what I do actually is I do use that bike for Peloton classes. I just set up my phone and, you know, just sort of take the Peloton class and they'll be like, bump it up to level 7. I'm like, sure, wherever that is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good way to stay active, though. It's kind of cool they're doing that.
Yeah. No, honestly, I feel like my Sarasota, Florida lifestyle is 100% healthier than my New York City lifestyle. Like, I got a Whoop band. I've been drinking like gallons of water. No way in hell is this thing coming back to New York with me. Like this will cramp my style majorly in New York City.
A little more chill.
I'm like, it's fine.
There's just something about, you see palm trees, you see the water. It's just easier to go out and be active, I feel like, because that's how I felt when I was in South Carolina too. It was like, all right, I should be outside doing stuff.
Yeah, super, super active. And then it's like, I can't, there's no place to go out. So it's not like I'm going out and I'm not like sitting around the house drinking. So, you know, definitely healthier right now for sure. But we'll see how long that lasts.
So
let's dig into your playing career. I'm taking you over, Mike. Let's dig into your playing career a bit. So you started at Arkansas, and then you went to Rollins and you won a national championship there. Can you kind of just talk about, you know, playing, growing up, you know, in a golfing family and then getting into the game and kind of your aspirations? I don't know if they were always like to get to the top of golf or kind of get in media like you.
Yeah. So, you know, it's funny when I was younger. So I'll start like when I was like 12, 13. That's when I first really got into golf. Before that, I did not like golf. I wanted nothing to do with it. I was really into horseback riding.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I did competitively. And until I was like 12 or 13, that's when I played my first 18 holes, shot 136. And I was like, wow, I'm really, really bad at this.
It's perseverance though.
Yeah. So I was like, so I played and I was like, my brothers are really good. And I just kind of wanted, I guess for lack of a term, like a seat at the family table when it came to like the conversations at dinner.
I'm sure you get left out a little bit if you don't have any golf stories.
Yeah, I mean, my mom played on the LPGA. My dad's obviously an instructor. My brothers play at a high level. So I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, well, I don't really have anything to contribute to the conversation. So I was like, all right. So practice really hard, ended up going to IMG Academy for high school because I knew that if I wanted to play in college, I needed to get a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And because shooting 136 at 13, 14 is not going to get you very far.
You wouldn't have beaten Tiger at that point.
No.
I gotta say, one takeaway I have with that though is I think it's impressive that you stuck it out and counted all 136 strokes. There would have been a lot of 13. Yeah. There would have been a lot of 13-year-old girls that get to about mid-80s and like, all right, I'm done with this. And you stuck it out.
It was a tournament. I don't know. So I had to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, signing for that was rough.
Maybe that gave you the discipline to, eventually have that toughness to mold a career out of it.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I got to get a lot better. Went to IMG, ended up earning a scholarship to go to Arkansas. And at that time, like in high school, I was like, all right, I want to play professionally. Like, that's what I want to do. So I went to Arkansas. They had an incredible facility. They at the time were I think top 30 ranked school. And I remember I actually sent a letter to the coach at Duke when I was about 14, 15, because I had my mind, I really wanted to go to Duke. And ultimately, I got an offer from Duke, but it wasn't I felt like I had worked so hard through high school. I really wanted to get a full ride. So I got a full ride to Arkansas. And I also knew, granted, I got so much better in high school. And I was I wouldn't say I was a top recruited junior, but I was pretty good, shooting mid-low 70s. And I knew at Arkansas, I was going to have, you want to go somewhere where they're really excited to have you and that you're going to have a good opportunity to play. Right. So I ended up choosing Arkansas because I thought that would help me, reach my goals. I needed to play to, get better if I wanted to play professionally. So I went to Arkansas. I was there for 2 years. It was an awesome experience. And it's funny because I feel when people transfer, I don't have any regrets of going to Arkansas in the first place. I just look at them as two separate college experiences. Yeah, so went to Arkansas. My coaches there, Shauna and Mike, were absolutely incredible. And I got so much better at golf during that time. But the school itself, it just it just wasn't for me. I wasn't very balanced. I put all my time and energy into golf, and I didn't have anything else but golf. So when golf wasn't going well, it was nothing was going well. And so that put a ton of pressure on my golf. And then by the end of my sophomore year, I was like, you know what? I worked so hard and I'm not shooting the scores that I feel like I should be shooting. You know what? Just screw it. I'm just going to I'm so over it. Basically, I was throwing the towel, but I had signed up for all of these tournaments over the summer. And my parents had already paid for them. So I had all these amateur events lined up, but I was like, screw this. I really don't care how I play. I just, whatever, I hate golf. I'm so over it. So by the end of that summer, what was so funny was I won the Southern Amateur, got to the semifinals of the Western Amateur. And by the end of the summer, I was the 10th ranked amateur in the world. But playing, I was I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm so over
that's
this.
funny.
I don't even care. So it's funny because, I was because I didn't care. I was not. I think for me, my biggest thing was, I was always so afraid to mess up, and I was afraid to do my best and have it not be good enough. So then I would always play very fearful golf, and then I could always. Yeah, and so by then when I was not afraid, because I honestly did not care about the outcome, was when all the hours and hours I had put in for this last few years, I was just just you sort of freewheel, hit as hard as I can. And it was really fun to play because I didn't care. And then I remember, I think I tried to qualify for the US Open or something. And I missed it by 2 shots. And I just had that feeling again of not being good enough and not making it. And that was the time when I was all right, I don't think I think I need to switch up my college experience here, because I think I need to be a little more balanced, because I had to figure out a way to be able to practice golf and care about golf, but still be balanced. I was talking to somebody the other day. It's it's very difficult when you spend 95% of your time on something, whether it's working out and practicing and, you know, not going out with your friends because you have an early tea time the next day, like having all these sacrifices and putting all your energy into something, but then have it only be like 10% of your self-worth is really, really difficult. So that's when I decided to transfer to Rollins. I think I was able to sort of separate like my golf and then who I was as a person, because Rollins was a lot more like, sometimes it was frustrating because I would have teachers that were like, I really don't care that you're on the golf team. Like, like we're gonna, like, you're not here for this class, so we're gonna take points off. And I was like, no, I literally, that's how I pay to be here. You know? So it was almost like the opposite extreme. So, but it was like, it worked a lot better for me in terms of golf, because now I was working really focused on my academics, and I started doing like the radio and just like building out my other interests, which even though I was still practicing hard and working on golf, there were all these other things that were taking up time as well. So I was just a lot more balanced, I would say, at Rollins, and like figured out what my other interests were. So then when I graduated, I decided to turn pro. But I think ultimately, like, I always wanted to get into the media side of things. And that was like my plan, regardless of how the professional thing went. I was like, I always want to sort of turn this into a media career. So I played probably for like, I would say like 8 or 9 months, and a job opportunity opened up at Golf Digest. And when I felt like myself being way more excited about that job opportunity than continuing to pursue professional golf, I was like, all right, then that's probably a good sign I need to sort of move that way.
So I've got 2 follow-ups. First off, I'm always curious about these SEC campuses. So was Fayetteville just not a good college town, or what was Fayetteville like?
Oh my God. You know, Fayetteville was great. It was very much like you said, an SEC, like, because Arkansas doesn't have any professional sports.
Right. No,
so
the Hogs are everything. Yeah.
Yes, the Hogs are everything. If you're an athlete at Arkansas, you're like a rock star. It's incredible. So it was really amazing to go to a school like that puts so much, you know, funding and focus on their athletes. It's really incredible. Like the amount of gear we got and the facilities, and it was incredible. So I'm so thankful that I got to experience that. I would say Rollins was a lot more like where I went to high school, like very small and really, really international.
More community based, or?
Yeah. And it's like super, like Arkansas, I think was like 20,000 undergrad. Rollins was like 1,800. So just like very, very, very different experiences. Yeah.
And then my second question is, we've heard from Lexi that the radio show in college was quite the show. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we got to know about that.
Let's hear what that entailed.
Yeah. So the radio show at Rollins, I did with a good friend of mine named Spencer Mumford, who was the pitcher on the baseball team. And it was funny. It was WPRK, which is the Rollins radio station. And actually, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, what movie is it? It's the movie with, I'll think of the name, but it's very much like, damn it. What movie is that? It's very much like any college movie that you'd see where they have like a radio, station. It's like underground, and there's all like records and albums and that kind of stuff. So
like Pitch Perfect.
Yes. That's what I was looking for.
Wow,
So
we got a Pitch Perfect expert in here. Wow.
Great movies.
Yes. So very much like Pitch Perfect radio station. And it was funny because when Spencer and I decided we want to do this, we had a time slot from 5 a.m. to 7 in the morning. So I would like get up, go do the radio, and then run to workouts. And then when we got a little better, like it was like 7 to 9 in the morning. And then when we got the prime time slot was from like, what it was like 1 to 3 in the afternoon, and we would like run over to the college cafeteria and persuade the the cafeteria staff to change the radio station
Right, yeah.
to
I was gonna say, who
WPRK.
was like, were people listening to that who were just in the
Yeah,
area? Or was it
yeah. I think
strictly?
it was mostly like, I mean, so we'd get some random people that would call in,
Yeah.
but generally like our friends would listen to it, and then we'd
Okay.
put it, their friends would be like texting us requests from the cafeteria, and we'd play music. But a lot of times what we would do also is, with myself being on the golf team and Spencer being on the baseball team, and also just because, student athletes at Rollins, the school itself is super small, but like especially the student athlete community, we all knew each other. So we'd invite our friends from our either like our respective teams or the other teams to come on our radio show, and then we'd interview them. So
Nice.
myself, like knew I wanted to get into the media side of things, and then Spencer also eventually, he's actually now pursuing acting. We would interview our friends, so it was like a really great way to
Yes,
get a
that's
mic
fun.
in front of your face, and
Right.
yeah, it was really, really fun.
And those interviews were probably like more natural too, because you know the people you're interviewing. It's more personal.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was really fun. We would ask them like, what are their pump up songs, and we'd play their songs. It was really cool.
Yeah. And so now you have a show on Golf Digest, Shot by Shot.
Yeah.
Talk a little more about that. And that's with Sergio Garcia's wife?
So Sergio Garcia's wife, Angela, and I, we did a radio show on Sirius XM for a while together called Garcia and Leadbetter Remixed. And so we did that once a week live when I used to work for the PGA Tour.
Okay.
And that was really, really fun. Right now we're on a little bit of a respite because she's just had another baby, and it's been really challenging syncing up our schedules.
Been there,
yeah, it's hard. So so we did that together probably for like a year. It was really, really fun. And Angela was a reporter at the Golf Channel, so she's incredible, and I've learned so much from her. And so that was something that I did for a while. And then Shot by Shot, which is Golf Digest, is actually a show that was that's on Instagram stories, and it's essentially like a comedic recap of the week in golf. So I usually write that with the Golf Digest video team, and it's been sponsored by Callaway now, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And yeah, it's awesome. I mean, the Golf Digest video team, they're incredible, and they really, really make it, like, the graphics and the transitions are amazing. So it wouldn't be half of what it is without them.
Yeah, I like that you guys have taken kind of that comedic approach with that, add some little flair to golf. Because I feel like, especially with the audience around our age, they kind of need a little bit of that comedy, like making it more of a user experience with golf, and that's a great way to connect and help grow the game with, especially with people our age and kids out there.
For sure.
But so
fire up the.
Now we'll get. So yeah, it's funny you mentioned the interviews in college. So we have what we call the 60-second scramble, which is kind of like that rapid fire stuff. But we'll save that for a little bit later. I wanted to get into it. Looked like I was kind of doing a little research, and I saw that you did something with the Iceman, Henrik Stenson, some closest to the pin type thing. That's one of the personalities on tour that I've always thought is very underrated. I feel like Henrik's just a class stand-up guy. So talk to us about that and other personalities that you've gotten to interact with who really stand out.
Oh my God, Henrik Stenson! I think you're right. He's so underrated. I wish he should have his own show. Honestly,
he's hilarious.
So
very dry humor too.
Yeah. So remember that video was at something called the Nexus Cup, which was at Liberty National. It was it's one of Tiger's events, like that's under his like TGR live events. So we were out there covering it for Golf Digest and Golf TV, and he had brought in some of his fellow tour professionals to, I think Henrik literally like stood on the tee all day and just like hit shots imagine having like a Beat the Pro and walk up and having it be Henrik Stenson.
It's not the best draw.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. Okay, so Henrik's just like chilling on the tee, and we did this I think it was a close to the pin contest where he had to hit left-handed and I'm actually left-handed. So he used my club, and he hit left-handed and I hit left-handed, and he like beat me with my own club, and I was so embarrassed, but
those
but it
guys
was
are
really
so
fun.
good lefty. It doesn't make too much sense,
So
to be
good.
honest.
He's so good.
So the Iceman
So
has a solid lefty swing. Wow.
yeah, it was incredible. So yeah, kudos to Henrik for that. But let's see, other people that I've got to work with.
Yeah, who are some of the best personalities you've come across so
Let's
far in
see,
terms of?
I love Rory. I really do.
Okay.
I just feel like every single time you talk to him, he's just like, how are you? And you can tell that he like really
Mm-hmm.
cares how you are, and
Yeah.
he doesn't give you off that energy like, oh, like, let's get this over with. I just think he's so kind.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, I got the opportunity to work with Patrick Cantley's on our cover this month,
Yeah, I
and
saw that.
I was at his cover shoot, and another just like, maybe not the most like energetic person.
Yeah.
Like he's just like he's just super chill, and but like very thoughtful, like his
Mm-hmm.
answers he gave. And again, just one of those people that like would go out. Somebody called me, like, people call me Haley all the time, which is like, my name is spelled weird,
Yeah, we
but
had to clarify that before.
yeah, I mean, it's whatever. I don't care. Like, I don't even like hardly even correct people. I just go, yeah, whatever.
Sure.
But like somebody called me Haley, and then he like looked at me and he goes, I bet you get that a lot. So like the fact that he was like, oh, that wasn't her name. Like, I thought that was, I thought that was super nice.
Yeah.
That's cool, because I feel like there's a lot of people that just see Cantlay, and you know how I mean, when he's on the golf course,
especially him. Yeah.
it's pretty much no emotion. He's just about his business. And I feel like people, then just characterize him as this boring guy, but I feel like he's just more of a quiet, that's his demeanor. But when you get to know him, there's a lot.
Oh my God, he's so smart. He's really, really smart. So I really enjoyed working with him. And then I love working with LPGA players. They're just so approachable. And I love going to, I had the opportunity to go to the Evian Championship over in France last summer.
Wow.
And the LPGA is just so helpful when it comes to, who do you want to talk to? They're willing to assist. And it's not like, I mean, granted, you have to go through agents, but usually the agents are like, they want to get their players out there and working with the media. So I got to work with some really fun girls out there too.
That's great. We've seen that LPGA has become a little bit more of a focal point, I think, in the last 3 or 4 years, with some younger girls who are kind of like, Lydia Ko was up there for a while, but she kind of stumbled. But now Maria Fossey's up there. She's another young gun. So it's kind of cool to see that kind of take off with some younger talent too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Maria Fossey's awesome. My dad just started working with her, actually.
Oh, okay.
And she's based out of Orlando, and that girl's like swing speed is just insane.
She rips it.
Yeah. She really does. Right now she's actually playing in the I always said my little brother is playing in these like moonlight tours and West Florida golf tours. She's playing in those right now. So
really fair.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, what are some career goals for you? I know you've been with Golf Digest now a couple times, PGA Tour. You're in the media industry. What are you kind of looking to do? I know you're pretty funny. We heard you maybe want to be a stand-up comedian one day, but what are some career aspirations?
Yeah, I gotta say too, the social media game is pretty impressive from what we've seen.
It is. I was cracking up. We don't want to stalk, but we have to do our research on it.
No, totally. I understand.
But no, I was cracking up. There was some funny stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. I would say I've been kind of working on, actually, I feel like this quarantine time selfishly has been like kind of good for me, because I've been able to, I feel like in New York and in my job, like I'm always traveling, I'm always running around. And for this has been like a good time for me to like sit down and be like, okay, like what am I doing right now? And it's just getting me closer to sort of like where I want to go and what I ultimately, want to do. And I think for me, like I love golf. And I think I'll always be in golf and around golf. Okay, sorry. Are you serious, Mom? Are you serious? Hi.
We're good.
No, we'll take it. We'll take a guest appearance. How's it going?
How you doing?
Mother's Day on Sunday.
That's the quarantine effect. It's all good.
That's hilarious.
My dad did that the other day, and I was like, oh, I swear to God.
Right.
I'm not getting out of here fast enough. Oh, Kelly. Yeah, anyways, goals. I would say anyway, so I'll always be in golf in some capacity. I would love to, maybe branch out and expand beyond golf in like a comedic entertainment sense. So we'll see. We'll see where that kind of leads me. I'm, on my Instagram stuff, I try to like trying to push myself to do stuff that is golf related and also not golf related, so hopefully have some fun. I have some like uh people that I went to school with at Rollins that are like incredible producers that that live in New York City now, so I'm hoping to maybe collaborate with them on some projects and just sort of step out of my comfort zone, because I've been in the golf industry for a very, very, very long time in terms of like, I mean, I've obviously been only been like working officially in it since I like graduated from college, but like
it's in your DNA.
It's in my DNA. Like I know golf and I love golf, but I think I really want to push myself to continue to expand and learn more about just entertainment in general.
Sure. Totally. Well, the sky's the limit. My last question before we get into the scramble though. So back when things were normal before Corona came about, on a week-to-week basis, how many tournaments, like, would you go to most tournaments and cover those, or like what was your schedule like travel-wise?
It really depends. I would go to a lot of the bigger PGA Tour events, and I would go to like the majors, and also like shoots. So if we had like one-off, like I was at like the Patrick Cantlay shoot, and then I flew down to Florida to shoot some preview stuff for the players. Then I went back to New York and then back for the players. So it's a good mix of, I think that's what's so great about Golf Digest is that it's not just like, I mean, granted, I love the PGA Tour and I love covering the PGA Tour, but it's also things that just like golfers are passionate about in general. Like there's the instruction element, and there's the style element, and the courses, and there's all this other stuff. So it's not just like hardcore golf coverage all the time. So I'm really lucky that I would get to sort of bounce around and have a good variety of things to do. But my schedule has varied a lot. I've been on the road for like 3 weeks at a time, and then I've been in New York City for a few weeks, and then just like one little like a day trip here and there. So I think that's what's so great. It's like I never really know exactly what my schedule is going to be like, especially with golf. When we're trying to shoot players maybe for the magazine or some sort of digital video, it's kind of like we are at the mercy of like what works for the player. So it might be like 2 or 3 days before, it's like, hey, we got so and so at X golf club in X state, like can you go? And you just jump on a plane and you go and make it work. So it can be you got to be flexible for sure.
What's the coolest spot you've been to?
Ooh, I'd say the coolest spot that I've been to, I got to go on, and I played in the Golf Digest Family 4-Ball at Bandon Dunes. Wow. That was really neat.
I hear a lot about that, yeah.
That's sick.
I went over to Scotland and got to play Carnoustie the day after the Open.
Wow.
Which was amazing.
That's pretty sweet.
But I'd still say like the Evian Championship.
Would you fire at Carnoustie?
Oh my God, I don't even know. I think like 87 or something. It was so hard.
I think you beat both of us still.
Oh my God, it was brutal. But I'd still say one of my favorite things that I ever got to do was to go to the Evian Championship last year. Like that tournament is just the most insane tournament I've ever been to. It's just, the place is like fake. It's so beautiful.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
And like the food and the fireworks and like the Veuve Clicquot, and it's just like the most amazing place. So
that's the part about golf that I think attracts so many people, is you can be outside in like these awesome places and you play a sport and it's like you're outside walking. I don't know what's going on here. But even if you're in a car, it's like you enjoy the nature and you're like, you get to go to places you wouldn't go to otherwise to play a game. It's like,
oh yeah, totally. I know, it's funny because I always try to make it a point when I get to go to these cool places, like at least just try to, because that's something like my mom, the woman that just walked in here, played on the LPGA, and she said that's something that she sort of, I don't know if regretted is the right term, because I don't think she really had a choice, but like when she played on the LPGA and played on the European Tour, like she would travel around and like she didn't really get to see much of the places that she was playing golf in, because obviously you're there for your job and you're there to play. So I always try to like even if it's just like driving around or going to have, eat somewhere, just try to get like a little taste of the place you're at.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, we don't want to take too much of your time, so we'll get into what we call the 60-second scramble here. Are you ready to handle the music?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Who plays Hally Leadbetter in the movie?
Anna Kendrick.
Okay, I can see it.
Pitch Perfect. That's the movie.
There we go. The
remember.
connections are intertwined always.
All right, we don't want to cause some controversy in the Leadbetter household, but if you had to pick your dream foursome, who's in it?
Oh, my dream foursome. Let's see. Ellen DeGeneres.
Okay.
Tina Fey. And let's see, who would be my third one? Probably Ellen DeGeneres, Tina Fey, Whitney Cummings. Those are all three female comedians.
That would be a pretty hilarious foursome. I'm not sure on the pace of play unless they play golf, but it would be funny.
Ellen plays golf. Golf.
Okay.
I'd pay to watch that group tee it up. All right, you got 24 hours left on Earth. What are you having as your final meal?
Ooh, my final meal, probably spaghetti bolognese with like a big chocolate milkshake.
Wow, I could sign up for that right now. All right, you're back to normal in NYC. You're out and about. What's your drink of choice?
Ooh, I go either way. I sometimes like gin and tonic or margarita.
Okay.
Depending on the mood.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite comedian? Who's someone you got some inspiration from?
Ooh, probably Whitney Cummings right now. I think she's so great on social media. Like she's so for buzzword, like authentic, but she's like super authentic.
Okay. All right. We're going to put you on the spot here. Assume, knock on wood, all three, obviously not the Open, but assume the other three majors go on as planned this year. Mm-hmm. We want 3 winners.
Okay. Let's see. For the U.S. Open.
They can't all be Rory.
Yeah, we know you want to say Rory for all of them, but.
I'll go Brooks. PGA. I'll go Bryson.
Wow. Okay.
He was playing well before.
He's got some California ties too. I like that pick.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go on Rory for the Masters.
Okay.
I could have penciled that answer. What's a course on your bucket list that you haven't played yet that you'd love to get out to?
Pine Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's one thing that the public would be surprised to learn about Hally?
Wow. Okay. The public, what would they be surprised to learn about me? Probably that I can't parallel park.
I'm right there with you. There's been numerous occasions where I've had the person next to me hop in my car and do it for me.
Yeah. I don't even I can't. I mean, I don't have a car in New York, and it's a good thing that I don't because I can't park.
All right, we're going to give you a little player comparison here. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Spieth has a 3-1 lead right now, but he's going through a little bit of a spell. When it's all said and done, who wins more majors, Jordan Spieth or Justin Thomas?
Ooh. Spieth. I think he's going to get it together. I think he's just going through a rough patch.
I think so too.
I think he's going to find his way.
You can't keep a guy like that down for too long.
No.
All right, and then
we'll figure it out.
My final one, Kevin might have a couple, but my final one is, what's your favorite memory or story, something that happened on a golf course ever?
Let's see. Favorite memory or story that happened on a golf course. I'd say probably when I won the Southern Amateur. I think it was just that was the one time where everything that I had, all the work that I had put in kind of coincided with me not giving two shits. So it was like really cool because I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to play my best. And it was really neat because the final round, it was a match play event. My parents flew up to watch me play. And even that was like extra pressure. I'm like, oh my God, like my parents are flying up here to watch me play. Like, what if I don't win? I just kept telling myself, like, doesn't matter. Like, I'm just going to go out there and whatever happens, happens. And I remember it was a 36-hole match and I was 3 down through 9. And I ended up winning. So that was pretty cool.
I do have a couple. How many hole-in-ones do you have in your career?
2.
And when was the first one?
The first one was in my second college tournament at University of Texas when I played for Arkansas. I literally just like thinned a hybrid and it landed at the front of the green and rolled up like 2 tiers and went in. My dad was on the green too, so that was pretty funny.
That's actually sick.
What was the celebration like?
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't see it go in. I saw my dad on the green, like, or up by the green, just like throw his arms up. So I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. That's always a good sign. Right.
Yeah. It was awesome. Yeah.
Right.
It was
and
really
then now that you've been, this is a little more personal one, but now that you've been through your career and you're into the media industry now and you kind of seen both sides, but what would your advice be to younger women who are either playing golf right now, want to become a professional, or want to get into the media industry? But I know you talked about balance and stuff. So what are some things you would kind of advise to them?
Yeah. Well, I'd say if you're trying to pursue golf professionally, I would just say that I actually heard my dad say this the other day to he was asked a similar question, and it's like, and he said that, if you work hard, it's not guaranteed that you'll make it. But if you don't work hard, it's guaranteed that you won't make it.
Do you think golf's the hardest sport to be a pro in? I kind of wonder. I mean, baseball is tough.
It's so tough. There's such a fine line that separates, like those top, even like I know some people that are some guys that were like college teammates of Ricky Fowler. Mm-hmm. And I remember a few years ago, I asked him, like, he had gone out and played with Ricky, and he's like, yeah, like I beat him the other day, So, and this guy's like, working wherever he's working now and not on the PGA Tour. So, it's not like
the margins are razor thin.
It's not like you can look at a player and be like, that guy's on the Korn Ferry Tour, that guy's on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, because any given day, depending on what qualifiers you're in or whatever, if you make 3 or 4 more putts, you make it, and then I don't know, you never know, it snowballs. But
So I'd say that's my probably advice for if you're pursuing professional golf, just like work your butt off, and like that's really all you can do. Just leave it all out there. Yeah, totally. Keep it balanced. And that's the other thing, like figure out what works for you. I remember I had a conversation the other day. I interviewed Brittany Lincecum, who's obviously a very successful LPGA player. And she's like, I don't like practicing for her is not part of her recipe for success, which that's cool. Like I wish, like that she knows this works for her. Like she loves to fish. She loves, like she plays her best golf when she's really, really balanced. So I think ultimately that's the thing too. It's like, yes, work hard, but also like work smart and do like whatever you can that makes you your best you. Like don't try to follow somebody else's recipe because that's not you. So you need to do whatever works for you.
All right. Awesome. I gotta say, we've had a lot of people give answers to these scrambles. Even guys have struggled. Guys like Max Homa, Tommy Fleetwood have had to pause. You gave us very direct answers. That's probably top 3 at least answers we've heard to those questions. You didn't have to sit out. I think it was impressive.
And you can see how 60 seconds is loosely termed. It's more of a 6-minute scramble.
6-minute scramble.
Give or take.
But anyways, Hally, we really appreciate you coming on. It was a blast, and hopefully things get back to normal soon. We look forward to watching more of your content at Golf Digest, and maybe next time we're out NYC, we'll get a round in or something.
Absolutely, yeah. Please let me know, guys. Where are you guys both based?
I'm Chicago-based.
So we grew up there's one other guy that had some family stuff come up, but we all grew up in the Chicago area. I'm actually in Austin, Texas now, but we're all originally from Chicago area.
Cool. Okay, awesome. Well, I'll let you know if I'm ever there, and then you guys let me know if you're ever in NYC.
Absolutely.
Awesome, Hally. We appreciate you coming on.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.